Hey guys, I'm hanging out in Asheville this week. I am on some really beautiful fairy mountains on the Blue Ridge mountain range. Right next to where I'm staying, there's a field with horses and cows and a cute little Shetland pony. So adorable. Anyways, I've been having some interactions with some spirits that I thought you guys might find interesting, especially those of you who are into animal rights. It's something that I pepper in on every now and then because my role in that world is not like some people's role in that world, and I think all of us are needed, and I respect what all of us do. And for as far as you multidimensional folks that have different entities and beings come to you, this is an experience I've been having very recently that I'm still integrating, that I just kind of want to share with you guys because I don't really have an answer for it, but I definitely am feeling it. So I just wanted to send it out to you because I know a lot of us go through the same things at the same time. So I think it's fun to be able to share and to exchange notes, even though it's on the internet and we may or may not have the easiest time connecting in three-dimensional world. Anyways, so for the past couple of weeks, during times of quiet solitude or meditation or other times when my intuition's kind of open, I've been having a certain type of elemental spirit come to me. And when I had my fairy awakening in 2011-ish and found out that fairies were real, which I did not believe as an adult until things started happening and I started getting all kinds of validation and synchronicity and proof that I needed to believe in my world, I now recognize various types of beings. So, for instance, if you think of the way the Native American people would say the bird people or the bear people or the dog and cat people, that's the way that I see it. And in the past couple of weeks, I've been during meditation spots or spots when I'm feeling pretty open, I've been having these beings come to me that are the people of the rodent kingdom, like the mice people, the squirrel people, the mole and vole people. Lily has brought in a couple of voles that I've had to quickly rescue and set back outside with my apologies for her rude behavior of catching them. Yeah, cat life. So anyways, the ones that have really come to my attention along all of those different kinds of peoples who are related are the mink people, the spirit of the mink. And this is something that I find really interesting. And also, I find it really related to what's going on right now with the divine feminine in our world, especially in our political and entertainment worlds, where the divine feminine is kind of rearing up and taking some of her power back. And this, to me, feels very similar because every microcosm, macrocosm has all the same points. And so it's things that are also resonating with me in my life, looking around at where my wounding is and where my places to heal and grow are, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing about the mink, right? Mink are beautiful little animals. They're rodents. They're long. I've never met a mink, but I have been friends with a ferret before. And I'd been feeling the spirit of the mink. They would appear to me in ways that my brain decodes it as, and each of us are different. But I was recognizing it as, like I said, the rodent people's coming to me in all these different kinds of ways until I paid attention and then started asking, okay, what is it that you guys want? And then the stuff started coming. So I saw a video online, which I wasn't looking for it was just kind of across my feed, about how mink are being treated in the mink farms, because the mink people have fur that's very soft and warm and glistening and shiny, and humans like it. So as a result of the fact that they're soft and warm and glistening and shiny, there's kind of a mink holocaust going on right now. I saw a video of the inside of a warehouse where it's a mink farm, like a mink factory farm, and it was taken at night, and the video has a little spotlight out in front of the camera, and there are just these rows of cages, small cages, yay big, that has these feral wild mink in them that have just been not at all loved, not at all let out of their cages to run around, probably never even seen the sky, just fed enough to live, grown by the hundreds, and then slaughtered without kindness, and their fur ripped off and made into clothing or eyelashes or whatever. And so when I think about that archetype, I definitely identify a lot with it. There's something that in my heart trembles and resonates when I think of something being persecuted because of its beauty, which is such an ironic thing, you know, because if they weren't lovely and shiny and beautiful, they wouldn't be being raised and factory farmed and killed and tortured and all this kind of stuff. So, and there are so many of them. There are, you know, thousands, maybe even millions of these beings, of these living beings. And I, like I said, I have known Ferret, and he was cool. I was friends with him. So the interesting thing, 3 points. First, the fact that they are being persecuted for their beauty is quite a mind screw, and it's really ironic. Secondly, the fact that out in nature, they're fierce. They're kind of the top of their food chain. I mean, you hear about stories of Rikki Tikki Tavi. Do you guys remember that children's story? Those types of animals, they can take down a cobra. They're really strong, but that the humans are keeping them in these cages. And then third, with, of course, the divine feminine, the whole being persecuted for your beauty, being enslaved and hurt and murdered or tortured or whatever for your beauty, is something that I think within each of us, not only women, but women and men, I'm sure everyone has that little bit, that thing that is afraid to shine, that thing that is afraid to be who you are in your most glowing and glorious and inspirational because of that wound that, as above, so below, as without, so within, we're manifesting this world where this happened. So there must be something inside of us that resonates with it so that it can even happen in our world. So just trying to figure that out. Now, okay, circle it back around. What role do we take in fixing this? Because I don't feel confident in, for instance, going and just setting all the mink in the mink farms free. I can't do that. I don't see a road open where I can sneak out of my car and go drive up to Toronto or whatever and let all these minks go. That doesn't seem like a realistic thing in my brain. It would be nice if it were, but it's just not. Just being honest with you, it's just not. So for me, the answer is usually energy work. And then some of you guys I know don't like that. Some of you guys would rather I take a more what you see as proactive physical approach to things like this. But I assure you, the things that I do, I'm definitely doing. And I know that it works because I'll do these things energetically and then I'll look around in my physical world and see that things are changing. And some of you guys who know me personally have also done this stuff. And even those of you who don't know me personally, energy work, the power of prayer is real. Energy work does work. And so if you're called to do something in the physical world, like I always say, yes, do it. But whether or not you're called to do something in the physical world, for instance, I already don't wear fur. I already don't eat animal flesh and haven't for years. So as far as my personal practice is shifting, I already don't do that stuff. But I am still being called to somehow participate and to somehow help the way that I can. So, for instance, one of the things that I think helps is allowing ourselves to send our bliss to those beings, allowing ourselves to send our bliss to those creatures, and helping them to be fed and nourished. So, for instance, last night I sat down at this beautiful meal with the friends that I'm doing this little private retreat with here in Asheville. And we went out to dinner, and I'm looking at this beautiful meal in front of us, and I thought about the minks. And I thought about how sad it is that right now, as I was going to sit down and enjoy this beautiful meal, the minks are being tortured and killed, and the mink people are beautiful, proud, and fierce people, and how I felt sad about that. And so you can choose to go two ways. You can either enjoy your life less because the mink people are suffering. Here's a little spider. Or, come here, little dude. You're cool. Hang on, you guys. Where is he? You see him? Anyways. Or, you can go the other route, which is... in the grass? Okay. You can go the other route, which is try to send awesomeness. Fill it up with something else. Not only try to get rid of what you don't want, but try to input what you do want. And that way, you're coming at it from both ends. So, for instance, for those of you guys who maybe don't think about this very much and are watching this video and maybe kind of uncomfortable, or even if you're not uncomfortable but you feel like, I don't know what to do, first off, just allow yourself to acknowledge the fact that it's going on, and even that you don't like it. The fact that it's going on that you don't like it. Like, my normal thing is, it's going on, I don't like it, and I don't know the solution. I don't know the solution. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I know that there must be one, because there's a solution for every problem, and we're gonna eventually find it. And then the second thing is send love, send blessings. And a specific energy healing technique that's been coming to me often lately about issues like this are, there's something in this world that is hungry for that chi. It's something that is taking from the mink people. This isn't people going out and hunting them on a fair thing. I mean, not that I don't know about hunting and fairness and whatever, but I do know that certain things feel more balanced to me than others. And so it's not like people are going out on the land and finding mink in their population and then balancing it with their own practices the way that, say, Native Americans and other indigenous people do. No, they're being raised in these crazy factories, and it's a wound in our collective. It's a torture that's going on right now in our collective that, like it or not, look at it or not, it is affecting us, and it is also inside of us. So if we can start to shift it and find the thing that's hungry for it, find the thing within that is hungry for beauty and feels like it has to take it, feel like it has to rip it off, literally rip it off of another being and wear it. Like, how creepy is that, right? Especially because we have so much faux fur now that's amazing and warm and beautiful, and I really personally don't see a reason for wearing animals now. Anyways, so send yumminess, and also whatever that hunger is, just feel it and then send energy to heal it, send nourishment to feed it. Because if we're all connected, then you can't say you're bad and I'm good. That doesn't work. It's good to keep things balanced and to hold everyone accountable. However, if we're doing this from an energy worker technique, then pointing fingers and blaming wastes time and spills energy and evaporates things that should be concentrated. So if you instead intend to send a bunch of healing, golden, bright energy to the hunger that longs for this, that also has the power to make it happen. And then you, for instance, one thing that I did yesterday at our little table, I asked the folks that were with me to take a moment and send this amazing nourishment that we were about to get to the minks, so that they would, for instance, I know this is silly and whimsical, but it's what I do, and I found it to have beautiful effects in my life, is that, for instance, give them a dream that night that was that they're perfectly nourished and loved and snuggled and allowed to be their zany, silly selves, because actually those peoples, the peoples of the mink and of the hamsters and of the mice and the ferrets, they're hilarious. They're really cute and funny and wickedly intelligent and cool. Every rodent that I've ever gotten to know, I've really loved. So the rodent people are special. They're just as important as we are. So if we can send them blessings and send them healing, not saying that we know what the answer is, because if we knew what the answer was, we would have already done it. We're building new paths. So anyways, I just want to send you guys that message from the mink spirit of the mink. And for those of you, because I know there are a lot of beautiful goddesses who are connected with me in my work, and some of you guys do feel like you've been persecuted for your beauty. And I know some other people might say, oh, first world problem. But the thing is, first world problems are still problems to the people who have them. They are. And so I'm not going to judge and say what's better or less. But I'm saying if you're feeling it, then I think what I've experienced and practiced and worked pretty well is that the answer is to bring up the healing from within, from your direct God source within. If you want some extra info, you can go look up some pranic meditations on YouTube, or some breatharian type meditations. That's a good avenue that's helped me a lot with getting power, divine power from within, not needing it anywhere in the external world. In fact, using what you get from within to nourish the external world without needing it to validate you. So on behalf of the mink people and the spirit of the mink and the spirit of the rodents, I would just like to remind you guys that being the biggest and the strongest is not always what makes us win. In fact, staying power has something for it, to say for it. And we all know a thing or two. If we're even here, if you're even watching this, you already know a thing or two about surviving. So let's use the energy that we have, that we've allowed ourselves to survive with, by feeding things that are hungry from a place of overflowing. And picture the minks happy and free. I would like them to be free, and I think you guys would too. So send you lots of love. Bye.